Hey everybody, Elizabeth Varian here. I had said that we were not going to do a techniques and strategy video for law of creation and how we create in life. Yet, last week as I had done those videos, I had been in the middle of a lot of chaotic energy, a lot of events that were happening that felt like, in the reality that it was out of my control. Yet I realized after I kind of took a break, wait a minute, everything I did during that time was a technique and strategy that you guys should be learning about. And I think I just get so that I innately um, do things that I forget. Wait a minute, this is something that is useful for you. So sometimes I might be coming back and going, I think you should have this information. So the first 2 weeks of this year, we're now in the third week, depending on when you're watching or listening, because we are going to take all these video trainings to podcast. Um, so, uh, but the first 2 weeks, the earliest I got out of work with Webmaster for Hire was like 9:30 at night, starting at, anywhere from 8 to 9 o'clock in the morning. And one time it was even 2:15 in the morning that, in fact, that was the very first day of the year, the business year. But it was crazy and it was chaotic. And, while I was shooting the other two videos, there was conflict going on. And I used that conflict in the videos. Now, that person and I have settled and discussed it, and I didn't just say, hey, I created this, let me change it. I still confronted and said, hey, this hurt my feelings that this happened. And, I need to know how I can work this going forward. And we came up with a plan. So, life still is going to happen as Abraham Hicks teaches, as things are coming about. Right now, I am living what I have previously created. And as you are learning to shift or become more mindful and intentional in your creation, you're still going to live through the stuff you created previously. And Abraham Hicks says to just go, I created this, I'll get through it, and then just keep going forward and shift your mind to, but I am positive, I am abundance, I am, insert all your affirmations. I think of it as a country song. I think everything in life can go back to a country song, well, music in general. But there's a country song that says, if you're going through hell, keep on moving so the devil doesn't even know you're there. And that's to me the epitome of, you know what, I created it, just keep moving forward. Don't have any judgment of the situation. Don't ponder, why it happened, how it came about. Don't do any of that. Just, you know what? I created that, and then just keep moving. And ultimately, that is one of two things I did these last 2 weeks is, you know what? I created this. Let me just keep moving. Stay out of judgment. Stay out of, trying to figure out why this happened. As you do this more and more, you'll connect to what created it much faster without asking why and how. I'd like you to stay away from the why and the how, because when you get shifting your focus on, well, why did this happen? How did I create it? You will then end up inadvertently creating it again by focusing on the why and the how. So if you don't want to re-experience it, don't focus on the why and the how. I can, in the middle of the creation, go, I created that, which is the first of two techniques or strategies that you can do while you're in the middle of something that you had created. Living the manifestation of what you created is just simply say, you know what, I created this. And I learned this, well over a decade or so ago from Abraham Hicks. Go, when something good happens, I created that. Smile, enjoy it. When something not so enjoyable happens, I created that. right? Just keep moving forward. Make no judgment, just I created that. Again, stay away from the why and the how. Now, another thing to do, and that is a technique on focusing on the fact that you're creating and in the law of creation, is when you're living a manifestation. Sometimes, and this doesn't really help you with how we create, but it helps you to understand that when you manifest something, you know you created it, but it will help you to deal with the frustrations as they come about, or the not so positive. So last week I showed you I created a book called How I Am a Money Magnet, right? And it's an affirmation book that will help people with creating a mindset of being abundant. The day after I created the videos for you guys on this, and I then showed it to a couple of people when they had asked, why aren't I going to become a coach and with all these teachings? And I said, that isn't what I'm aligned with. This is what I'm aligned with. And I showed them this. The next day, I found out that my supplier for creating these books was no longer going to be available. So the initial reaction is, I created that. And the other reaction, because as we do these videos, these things are going to come up for you. So I thought, I'm going to add this in as an add value here instead of just I created that, because now you're going to watch this and you're going to go, this wasn't fun, that wasn't fun. Again, judgment. As you're feeling something that's not fun, I created that. And something in this case, say, what, or something better. So that's exactly what happened. When the printer had stated they're no longer available to create these books for me before I could even get my final fixes done, I didn't go into panic mode. Instead, I just shifted to or something better. So when we create, in the moment of creation, if we catch ourselves in thought going, go step back. I created this. If it's something like a scenario like a supplier is no longer, but you really feel that that you were supposed to do something, then just know, or something better. Something better is going to come along. And I will tell you, I've researched for over a week, and it wasn't until I was leaving the other supplier and checking out that I got connected to my or something better. And I will be calling that person tonight. So that isn't technically a strategy for how we create in life. It's more to help you as things come up that may not feel enjoyable. But your technique for how we create in life is you're going to now become aware of various events popping up, various conversations, relationship shifts. And as you do, I want you to be in the habit of, I created that. And what's the opposite way to create something that feels better? And I keep talking about income, but I want to shift and talk about relationships. So, if you are working to manifest a better relationship, and as this gets started, you notice that this conversation over here, which was more of an argument, didn't feel good. Instead of judging that person, like the event that happened last week when I was recording these videos live and I had people outside, first thing, step back, step out of the argument as soon as possible, because that is just projecting more of what you don't want, correct? And shift it to step out of the conversation. You know what? I need to stop right now and take a break. Pull back, and in your mind, I created this. Don't focus on how, don't focus on why, focus on a shift, because we're creating. And how are we creating in our thoughts? Are we thinking this person owes us something? Are we holding them accountable to actions from the past? Are we holding them to being accountable for our happiness? Are we putting undue amount of perfection on them, expecting from them something that they may or may not be capable of delivering? That's our own accountability. What is our part in this? Because you can only be subjected to your own accountability. A good example is I was dating a guy once that we ordered pizza. And you think no big deal, of course. And I always like pepperoni and pineapple, which not many people appreciate. I get that. And so we always ordered half. It turned into an argument, but I was confused. So I stopped when he blew out of there and I simply said, okay, what is my part in this? I have no clue. I'm completely confused. I didn't step out this way. I didn't step in this way. Um, Confusion and chaos. Has this shown up before for me? Yes, it does. And the problem is at that point, I never sought clarity. I just pushed it down. So my part in that argument was to let go, law of allowing, send love energy to the person while they were out of my present. And when they showed up, just simply state, you know, I need clarity here because I don't understand what my actions were that were misinterpreted. And by doing that, I shifted my own reactions. And it turned out he was holding me accountable for something that had happened 2 to 3 weeks prior that he never spoke up about. And so he then spoke up that he felt like he wasn't, being heard, or his opinions weren't mattering. So it came out in pizza when in fact it was about something 2 weeks prior. And then we had a discussion. I was able to apologize over something that I didn't realize, and then we were able to move forward. Unfortunately, a lot of relationships that happens, and relationships are beneficial for us to learn about us. And if you've asked for someone to love, then love goes above and beyond your needs being met. It's meeting that person, and giving to that person, not meeting their needs. I started to say that. That's not correct. We're not here to meet each other's needs. We're here to be companions and partners. And we need to learn how to be companions and partners. And many times we need to ask how we can be a better companion or partner to somebody. What is it that they are seeking in the relationship? And many times we get into relationships and we forget to ask. And in creation, we create chaos by the subtraction of not asking, by assuming. And assuming is in thoughts. We're thinking something. And I know women are notoriously known for this, but men do it too. So we're creating in our mind, this person is this person is that, blah, 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 and all these not so positive thoughts. And then we don't know why our relationship isn't more positive. So if you're seeking better relationships, whether it be a intimate relationship with a spouse, a partner, or a mate, or a coworker, a boss, or whatever, pay attention to your thoughts in regards to that person. Are you projecting love thoughts? Are you projecting actions that are loving? Are you asking the right questions? So I kind of wanted to touch on that because I've had a couple people ask since I created the How We Create video. So hopefully this helps out. Technique, I created that. If something goes awry, something better is coming along, you can stop and say, how can I shift this? Not how did I create this, but how can I shift this, being what in my mind do I need to shift? Is there a limiting belief coming up? So hopefully that helps everybody. And next week we'll be back on giving the lessons on the time frame of beginning from law of creation to actual manifestation and what is that time frame. Until then, happy joyful manifesting and enjoy the rest of this week. All right.